Headlines. My name is Onyasi, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Carnival Avenue. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. President Barrow, together with his Cape Verdean counterpart, Jose Maria Neves, on Thursday afternoon, left the Gambia to Malibu, Equatorial Guinea, where they will join other African presidents for the 16th Extraordinary Summit of the African Union. The Carnival Municipal Council on Thursday officially took full ownership of 24 compactor waste collection trucks, pre-financed by Ajib Bank with over $100 million. The Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction has officially opened in Bali, Indonesia. The event is jointly hosted by the United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction and the government of Indonesia. And in international news, 11 newborn babies have died after a fire that broke out at the Mam Abdul Aziz Sy Dabakh Hospital in Senegal. And in sports news, Gambia international Ibrahima Dabo has become the first Gambian to win a major European trophy after his club clinched the inaugural UEFA Europa Conference League. Stay tuned as we bring you more on these and other stories. Well, those were the main headlines, and now we take a look at the news in detail. President Barrow, together with his Cape Verdean counterpart Jose Maria Neves, on Thursday afternoon left the Gambia to Malibu, Equatorial Guinea, where they will join other African presidents for the 16th Extraordinary Summit of the African Union. Alicia reports.
Made a brief stopover in Banjul and was received by President Barrow before he was accorded a guard of honor. After brief bilateral talks on a waiting bus, the two leaders emerged as they boarded the same flight to Malibu, Equatorial Guinea, for the 16th Extraordinary Summit of the AU, which will be held from 25th to the 28th of May. African leaders will use the summit to discuss how to prevent and counter the scourge of terrorism and the unconstitutional means of change of government on the continent. It is uncommon for two heads of state to travel on the same flight for such summits. But for President Barrow, it symbolizes the strong bilateral ties between the Gambia and Cape Verde, and by extension, the personal friendship between him and President Neves.
It symbolized that there is a very good relationship between our two countries, and we are talking about African integration. I think this is the best way to integrate. We are going on a summit at Malabo. When I'm back, I will talk to the media. But thank you for everything.
Thank you so much, and safe flight, Your Excellency. President Barrow is accompanied by First Lady Fatimata Barrow, who is expected to participate in a sideline session of Africa's First Ladies. President Barrow will proceed on a two-day working visit in Equatorial Guinea after the summit. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
Now, the Carnival Municipal Council on Thursday officially took full ownership of 24 compact waste collection trucks implemented in its Malibu Project and pre-financed by Ajib Bank with over $100 million. Mohamed Lamin Choi tells us more.
This ceremony is a historic moment of waste management in the Gambia through a project that was just a vision 4 years ago for a council that was newly entrusted with the affairs of Gambia's biggest municipality. The newly elected council had inherited with finances 3 second-hand tractors and 2 second-hand trucks for the collection and management of waste from the over 500,000 inhabitants in the KM. Without the financial resources, the KMC entered into a public-private partnership with Ajib Bank, the pre-financed purchasing of compactor trucks that were specially customized for the KMC to the tune of over $100 million implemented through what is known as the Malibu Project. The compactor trucks were made and purchased from Futon, a Chinese company which designs and manufactures trucks, buses and sport utility vehicles, and a partner to QuantumNet company in the Gambia. Snyder Wang speaks on behalf of Futon.
Today we can see that such a great and wonderful project has got executed well, and thanks to the right partnership and the collective team effort. Today, having the right partner in such a great and meaningful project, we are able to reach the goal we had 3 years.
For the chairman of the Q Group, Mohamed Jah, who was inspired by his trust and confidence in the Talib Ahmed Bensouda-led KMC, pre-financing the project was a civic duty amidst the financial crisis the council faced.
We were ready from day one that this is our civic duty, that we would pre-finance this project because we believed in Mayor and his team. And we financed this project to the tune of over $2 million. And today, we are happy to celebrate, after 3 years, we are happy to say that they have paid this amount fully to Ajib Bank, 100%. I think this is a clear demonstration that with seriousness and capable people, I think the public-private partnership can work in Africa. And it should work. That's the only way forward.
After purchasing the compactor trucks from Futon, they were handed over to the KMC in June 2019, when payments for the pre-financing of over $100 million began. For the first time, each ward in the KM was allocated a compactor truck, with residents paying $10 per round of waste collected. After 9 million waste collections in 3 years, KMC has fulfilled a payment plan of over $100 million, effectively taking ownership of the compactor trucks. The chairman of the Q Group is handing over the compactor trucks. The KMC mayor thanks the Q Group chairman for his commitment to the Malibu Project.
I therefore want us all to recognize Mr. Mohamed Jah of Q Group for believing in us, for having the courage to invest in our common dream for the benefit of the Gambian people. With the unwavering support of Mr. Jah, we then launched the Malibu Project. This was a revolutionary project. If it succeeded, it would pave the way and be a shining example to the people of KM and Gambia at large. It is an example that public service and taxpayer funds could be managed responsibly and honestly to make an impact in all our lives.
Bakari Singate, the project manager of the Malibu Project, recalls the waste management challenges the KM had faced and how the council has taken swift action for solution. Singate is praised for his dedicated work to the Malibu Project, which has become a success story for all municipalities in the country. On the sidelines of the project, the EU's head of cooperation, Stefan Merz, hands over vehicles for the €3 million EU-funded project called the Carnival Environmental Transformation Program, part of which aims to address waste management in the KM. The waste management trucks have received routine maintenance from Espas Motors, with all in good shape throughout. The KMC's Malibu Project has generated 170 jobs who provide waste management services to the doorsteps of KM residents. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
The Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction has officially opened in Bali, Indonesia. The event is jointly hosted by the United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction and the Government of Indonesia. As QTV's Jennifer Sonko reports, the opening was graced by the President of the Republic of Indonesia.
The Republic of Indonesia is a country prone to natural disasters. Attending country representatives have a lot to learn from the country's experiences. There have been 1,613 disasters in 2022, with an average of 500 minor and large-scale earthquakes every month as of 23rd May. Palu was hit by a huge earthquake, and the last major tsunami of 2018 killed up to 2,113 people. The forest and land fires in 1997 to 1998 were the largest ever experienced by Indonesia, destroying more than 10 million hectares of land spread across Indonesia. Officially opening the platform, the Indonesian President Joko Widodo says the world must commit to putting global commitments into action at the national and local levels. The Sendai Framework, the Paris Agreement, and the Sustainable Development Goals are all key international agreements aimed at reducing disaster risk and climate change. He said, "I invite all countries to commit and implement it with zeal." Mami Mizotori, the head of the UNDRR, said she is confident that this is the most consequential global platform we have convened. Here is why.
We are convening this global platform at a very challenging time, to say the least. Disasters have always been a plight, but we are now living in the aftermath of a disaster, the scale of which the world has not seen in many decades. It has upended conventional understandings of risk and what it means to manage disaster risks. All the while, drivers of risk that existed before the pandemic have only grown stronger.
Amina J. Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, urges the world to urgently step up international cooperation for prevention and disaster risk reduction in the most vulnerable countries and for the most vulnerable communities, including women and girls, people with disabilities, the poor, marginalized and isolated.
As it stands, disasters are already wreaking havoc in our efforts towards attaining the Sustainable Development Goals. Our decisions and actions can inadvertently influence our risk and exposure. This 7th session of the Global Platform, under the theme, From Risk to Resilience, towards sustainable development for all in a COVID-19 transformed world, therefore takes on additional significance.
The SG Mohammed added that the Secretary General has asked the World Meteorological Organization to present an action plan at the UN Climate Change Conference in Egypt in November to ensure that every person on Earth is covered by early warning systems within 5 years. At the end of the speeches for the opening ceremony, an Indonesian instrument, kul-kul, used to indicate the time of a gathering and call people to action was beaten. Kul-kul can be seen as a symbol of organization in society.
Congratulations for the official opening of the 7th session of the Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction.
Reporting for QTV News from Bali, Indonesia, I am Jenaba Sonko.
And from that report there by my colleague Jenaba Sonko, we will take a short commercial break, but the news continues when we return.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Welcome back from that commercial break. We remind you that you're following QTV News and we're broadcasting live from our studios on Carnival Avenue. Now, the Ministry of Agriculture, in partnership with National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation, on Thursday began a 3-day convergence with stakeholders in the groundnut, cashew and cereal production at the Junoy Agricultural Center in the Lower River region. Our regional correspondent, Bakari Balde, reports.
The convergence brought together various stakeholders from the farming communities, regional governors and district chiefs to discuss this year's sales and distribution of fertilizers to farmers across the country. Lamin Sedikan, the governor of Northern region, who also oversees the Lower River region, explained the challenges faced in the distribution of fertilizers during last farming season.
Last year, if you can all recall, the government has procured a lot of fertilizer that was estimated to serve the farmers for 2 years without procuring any fertilizer this year. Unfortunately, the fertilizer was distorted by those who were trusted by GGC. Some agents took that opportunity and sold fertilizers beyond our borders, and it creates a lot of problems. By the middle of the rainy season, people were calling me, governor of North Bank, asking me about fertilizer. It was disturbing. I cannot even sleep.
He further had this to say.
I think we have learned a big lesson from last year pertaining to fertilizer distribution.
Mohamed Njai, the managing director of the National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation, outlined that the recent global crises such as the COVID-19 pandemic and the Ukraine-Russia war have affected the price of fertilizer, including the Gambia.
These are very, very important stakeholders. We've all seen over the past 2 years what has happened with the Suez Canal, that blockade. It affected the food prices, it went up. Now we had the impact of the COVID, affected the supply chain, prices went up. We also have now the Ukraine crisis, the same issue. So we have to re-strategize, reorganize ourselves. We have to believe that for us to address this situation, we need to feed ourselves. And the stakeholders that will help us feed ourselves are these farmers that we are talking to today.
Alaji Yaya Jajusi, the chief of Jara West, who doubles as the chairman of Cooperative Society, compliments the work of the SECO managers and advises those assigned to distribute fertilizers to ensure the product reaches the intended beneficiaries. On behalf of the farming communities, Dukene Fofana from Bajakunda in URR and Samba Salla from Kuntaya in NBR both call on government and relevant stakeholders to help the farming communities.
We are aware that all these years, the government has been subsidizing the price of groundnuts and fertilizers. All the farmers are aware. That is why we are getting fertilizer at a reasonable price. We call on the government to continue helping the farmers because we are not financially strong.
At the end of this convergence, these stakeholders are hoping to come up with a workable strategy to ease the sales and distribution of fertilizers to farmers across the country for the upcoming rainy season. For QTV News, I am Bakar Balde.
And over now to international news in a moment. Here is some tragic news. 11 newborn babies have died after a fire that broke out at the Mam Abdul Aziz Sy Dabakh Hospital in the western Senegalese city of Tivaouane, the country's president has said. More in this report.
The fire happened in the neonatal department of the hospital. Although it is not clear, preliminary investigations suggest the fire was caused by a short circuit, according to Senegalese politicians. According to Demba Diop Sy, the mayor of Tivaouane, 3 babies were saved from the fire, which spread quickly. The hospital had been newly inaugurated, according to AFP, citing local media reports. President Sarr wrote in a tweet, and I quote, "I express my deepest sympathy to their mothers and their families." Senegalese Health Minister Abdoulaye Diouf Sarr, who is attending a World Health Organization meeting in Geneva, says the situation is very unfortunate and extremely painful, and he would cut his trip short to return to Senegal as an investigation was underway to find out the cause. The incident has sparked outrage on social media over the state of the country's healthcare delivery. An opposition MP has weighed in a debate, criticizing the government, saying the incident is unacceptable. The latest tragedy also follows a national outcry after a woman in Lebo Astu Sokhna died in early April while reportedly begging for a cesarean during her 20-hour labor ordeal at a hospital in Louga. Her unborn child also died. 3 midwives were sentenced on 11 May by the High Court of Louga to 6 months of suspended imprisonment for failure to assist a person in danger in connection to her case. The director of the hospital was also dismissed. 3 other midwives were acquitted. Wednesday's disaster comes a year after 4 other newborns died in a fire at the hospital's maternity ward in Linguère in northern Senegal. For QTV News, Loli M. Kamara.
Very sad news there. Our prayers and thoughts are with the people of Senegal, especially the people of Tivaouane. And we now take a look at sports news. Gambia international Ibrahima Dabo has become the first Gambian to win a major European trophy after his club Roma clinched the inaugural UEFA Europa Conference League. Our sports reporter Mamoudou Gajaga has more.
He is the first Gambian to put on a major European football competition medal following Roma's 1-0 win against Feyenoord in Wednesday night's final. Ibrahima Dabo had been a fringe player under AS Roma manager Jose Mourinho playing 4 games in the UEFA Europa Conference League. Despite having a little playing time, he can proudly celebrate his medal. Throughout the 2021-2022 season, Dabo had only 1 appearance in Serie A, playing 64 minutes in Roma's 2-0 home win over Empoli on October 3, 2021. Under previous Roma coach Paulo Fonseca, Ibrahima Dabo had already played 4 games and was being referred to as the next great midfielder. However, under Jose Mourinho, everything changed. Sometimes Dabo wouldn't even make the matchday squad. Dabo has been invited by coach Tom Sanford for Gambia's 2023 AFCON qualifier game against South Sudan on the 4th of June in Thiès, Senegal, having been part of the team at the previous AFCON. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
Well, congratulations to Ibrahima Dabo. I'm afraid that's it for this bulletin, but before we take a leave of you, here's a recap of our main headlines. President Barrow, together with his Cape Verdean counterpart, Jose Maria Neves, on Thursday afternoon left the Gambia to Malibu, Equatorial Guinea, where they will join other African presidents for the 16th Extraordinary Summit of the African Union. The Carnival Municipal Council on Thursday officially took full ownership of 24 compactor waste collection trucks implemented in its Malibu Project and pre-financed by Ajib Bank with over $100 million. The Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction has officially opened in Bali, Indonesia. The event is jointly hosted by the United Nations Disaster Risk Reduction and the government of Indonesia. In international news, 11 newborn babies have died after a fire that broke out at the Mam Abdul Aziz Sy Dabakh Hospital in Senegal. And in sports news, Gambia international Ibrahima Dabo has become the first Gambian to win a major European trophy after his club clinched the inaugural UEFA Europa Conference League. Well, join us at 10 p.m. for more news. Until then, on behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching.